Hey everyone, today's overview and review video is on Maple Valley. So if you're new to the channel, my name is Krissy and this is 2 Sheep 1 Wheat. If you're into board games, like this video and subscribe to the channel. If you're ultra into board games, we have added members to the channel. That link is down in the description below. A big thank you to all the members who have already joined already. So Maple Valley, this is a prototype copy that was sent to me from 𝒐𝒑𝒏𝒏. So a big thank you to them for sending it to me so that I can review it for everybody at home. Again, this is a prototype. What you see here will 100% not be what you get from the Kickstarter. I will have all the Kickstarter information down in the description down below. This Kickstarter is coming out very soon, so be sure to keep an eye on that. So let's go ahead and take a look at the components. Not the quality of the components, but definitely just the components and how the game plays. Okay, so we have the board here. There's a bit of setup on here as well. We have some tokens. So basically this is worker placement. We're going to be moving around on the board, and we're going to be able to collect some of these resources that are on here. We also have a couple of different spots on the board as well that are going to give us some other kind of benefit, like get us some favor cards, get us some patch cards, gain some resources, and help us fill out some of the festivity cards. And to help everything move along, we have our friend cards. We also have our pack board here. This is for the players. All of our resources are going to go on here. We have a spot for our favor cards, and we also have our cubes here for our festivity cards. So along with that, so we also get a starter card. So depending on what color player you are, I am red, so I'm going to have a starter friend. So my starting friend is red. That would be the starter red fox. So we also have that one, and you also get an extra card to start with. These are what is going to help you move through the board. We also have all of our resources. So we have the goods, and we also have curiosity tokens, and we have map tokens that will also help us travel throughout the map. So that is basically the components in the game. We also have these sun tokens up here. Basically, this is what's going to keep track of our rounds. So the game is finished after 5 rounds, and the person who has the most points at the end is the player who wins the game. So setup is just very, very small. You're going to select some outpost cards at random and place them out on the board. You're also going to place out some of the festivity cards at random. And then we also have these tokens out on the board. You basically flip them all over, and depending on what the icon is on the board is what you're going to place out. And you also place out these cards or these tokens here. And basically, whenever you jump over them, you're going to be able to collect some of these resources. All of these resources are to purchase the cards to be able to pay for them, and also pay your favorite cards, which will really give you the most victory points at the end of the game. So now that is all the components in the game, the little bit of setup for this game. So let's go ahead and jump into the actions that you can do on your turn. So basically on your turn, you're going to look at your cards, and the way to travel through the board is going to be at the top left corner. Whichever the category is where you'll be able to travel on the map. So in this case, this card does have the 3 type of categories. This one here just has dirt. So we always start off at the village, and depending on what card that you're going to place down, you're going to place it down on your pack board here. So we could be traveling through the dirt if you wanted to, and you can move over that way. If you wanted to move anywhere else on the board, you would have to discard your map. You always do start with 1, and as well as 1 of each of the curiosity tokens. The only spot on the board that you don't have to move from is the village, and that's the starting location, and that's whenever you have enough resources that you want to purchase some friends. So purchasing friends is what's going to help you maneuver your way throughout the board to really help you get to the top of the board. Just because of all of the categories up at the top left corner there, you're going to be able to travel all around this board and hopefully get enough resources to be able to complete a lot of those favorite cards. So once you play the card down, you place it down. Any of the benefit down at the bottom, you'll be able to collect as well. So say we do move over here, we're going to be able to collect a curiosity token, which is this heart one, or we'll be able to collect the resource that's in the sun. This one is clay for this round. I'm going to go ahead and take one of the curiosity tokens. So now whenever you're here, you can forage for these. So you have the choice. You can either get 1 of each, or you can get 2 of the same kind. So those ones you would collect, and you would put them on the side, on this side of your board. And it's just an easy way to keep track of everything and separate them. So basically your whole goal in this game is to collect resources to be able to purchase more friends, to get more favorite cards, and to also get the patch cards. Everything is going to collect victory points at the end of the game for you to tally up, and hopefully you win. So let's take a look at the board here and a little bit more of the locations on the board. So all of the surrounding locations that have the tokens on them, they're basically spots where you can forage to be able to collect those resources. But we also have a few in the middle, and we also have our outpost cards here. So let's talk about the lookout, which is right here. Now this, because this is a prototype copy, some of the things did change on here. So this one actually has 2 maps on here. So if you do end up on this location, you'd be able to collect 2 maps instead of just the 1. And you'd also be able to take one of the favor cards that are face up. Now you can only have 3 at a time on here at the end of your turn. So you can collect as many as you want as long as you can finish them, because if you have more than 3 on here, they're gonna have to be discarded. So you'd be able to take one of the face up cards. Let's say we'll go with this one. I stack them up like this and it doesn't take up as much space. So that would be the lookout. If we move up here, if we made our way to the clubhouse also has an extra icon on this. And the icon, I don't have it placed on here. I didn't print it out to place it on the board, but I will place it right here. This is the new icon, and that's basically adding a cube to the festivity card. So depending on how many players that you're playing with, so if you fill in the last row for a 2-player, as soon as that gets filled in, when it's finished, then you'll be able to activate this. So basically this one just says the finisher gains 2 maps. Each player places their pawn here. The next time they play a friend card, they can ignore the travel type and instead they can just go wherever they want, basically. So at the end of the game, this is also going to give you victory points. So for the first player, you're going to calculate how many cubes you have on here. That'll be plus 3 victory points. So if you have 2 on here, you'll end up with 5 because you're the player with the most on here. The other player will get their 1 cube plus 1, so it'll be 2. So that's kind of how these work. They're all different. All the benefits are all different. Some give you resources, others will give you cards and everything. So that's how that one works. And then whenever you are done taking the card, then you can replace it. And then also for this location, you'll be able to take one of the cards that are face down from the deck and be able to place it here. And along with that, you'll be able to collect one of the patch cards that are face down or that are face up. And for these cards here, they're going to be different. They're either going to give you some kind of benefit at the beginning of your turn. It'll either give you victory points at the end of the game, depending on what type of cards that you have. And they're all basically different. All cards are worth a victory point at the end of the game. So just choose wisely. In this case, let's just go with this one. These patch cards go at the bottom. And anytime that you take any cards, they all get shuffled down and a new one is placed, because whenever you get to the end of your round, which is basically when you have no more cards to be able to place down each player, then you pass, and all of the cards, the last one is going to be placed in the discard and shuffled over, and a new card is going to be revealed. So that was the clubhouse. Now we go to the lodge. The lodge here, you get to take one of the cards that are face up and one that's face down, and you'll be able to place it over here. Now again, just a reminder, you can only have 3 cards here by the end of your turn. And then with these, you're able to complete any number of these that you want. What that would look like is just simply taking the resources that you would have that match what the cards is cost. And then you would discard those and you would add them to the right side of your board once they've been completed. And you can do that as many times as you want. Just a reminder that you can only have 3 here at the end of your turn. And so the last location on the board here is Bluffs. So basically this will allow you to take this sun, the resource that's from the sun, 3 times, and it'll allow you to come back down to the village at the end of your turn. And whenever you play a card and the little benefit down here is a star, that just means that it's a curiosity token. So you'd be able to take whichever curiosity token that you would want. And then again, when you place these cards, depending on the category, you're able to move wherever you want, depending on the category, of course. So you'd be able to go somewhere else and collect more of the resources. So once you have no more cards, then it is time for the next round. Basically, this just gets flipped over and a new sun appears, and with a new resource. So at the end of a round, you're going to look at each player's cards. You're not going to look at each player's cards, but you're going to compare how many cards that you have. The player with the most cards is safe, but the player who has the least amount of cards is going to gain a dwaddle card. This one is basically wasting a turn. It's just you didn't have enough cards, the other player got further on in the game, but this will give you resources whenever you play it. But unfortunately with this one, you're not going to be able to move around on the board. So you would have to play with that for the round. Once it's played, it just goes back underneath of the deck or in a discard pile, and then hopefully you will have enough resources to purchase a new friend. So then the cards that are on the board are the Outpost. These locations are just basically moving, just shuffling things around here. So you can exchange resources for other resources. And then it also gives a little blurb down at the bottom. So you'd be able to pay a map to zoom to any locations to activate that location. So once you come here, you'd be able to do that whenever you'd be able to exchange resources for another resources from this hot air balloon. And then once you do that, you could pay a map and you'd be able to go anywhere else on the board and activate that location. So that is the one card that's on the table right now. Then we have the Canoe Carver. So this one is also exchanging resources for resources, but you can also exchange a patch for 3 random resources, or you can exchange a map for a resource. So you can do any number of these as many times as you want, unless there's a number. So this one here, so whatever the sun, whatever the resource on the sun, you'd be able to exchange up to 3 times into a map. But all the other ones that we have out here on the board, you can do any of them, any number of times, and it doesn't matter as long as there's no number on it. But this Canoe Carver here at the bottom says, gain one of the curiosity tokens, gain whatever curiosity tokens, then zoom to the village, which is all the way down here. You may add one of the friend cards at a normal cost before ending your turn. So that is the Canoe Carver. That is all the locations that are on the board, all of the cards, how you pay for favors. So that is basically the game. Learning this game was pretty easy. This is a very light game. It's a very cute looking light game. Definitely gives you the feel for creature comforts because it's basically all the same creatures and everything, but it's a complete different gameplay for this one. But yeah, learning the game was super easy. The rulebook was super easy. Again, this is just a prototype, so things are always changing. Like the rulebook for us has already changed once, but it was very easy to learn the game. It is a very light game. It is a very 𝒐𝒏𝒏𝒊𝒂𝒏𝒏𝒆𝒍 game for me. It definitely looks like it. You can definitely tell that this is their game. But playing the game, again, like I said, it's a very easy game. It's a family game. It's a very cute game. It's something that's going to attract the whole family to be able to play this game. I know that our kids really like how cute it is, and they definitely want to play with it. But yeah, playing the game, it's simple. You pick it up very quickly. There is a little bit of strategy while playing this game as well, because you want to gain as many resources that you can to be able to pay off for those favor cards, because those favor cards are really at the end of the game is what's going to give you the most victory points. You do have the patch cards here too that will give you victory points. All of them have victory points on them, but if you pay special attention, there are some, depending on what type of cards that you have or resources, you're going to get extra victory points because of those as well. So similar to creature comforts, the favor cards, you can match them up. So sometimes you'll get extra victory points at the end of the game based if you have the resources on the cards or if you have it paired with another card. So that is very similar to creature comforts. They did keep that, which I really enjoy. It's always nice to kind of pair up the cards and be able to kind of ping pong off of them, so to speak. And I do like the way that you're moving around. So this one, you're really just paying for the resources to buy the cards, the friend cards, so that you can travel around the board. With an actual meeple this time. So it is just a little bit of a different game. Obviously, it looks different. Like the artwork is definitely the same. Love the artwork. Creature Comforts, Maple Valley, like totally love this one. Definitely the artwork is definitely cute. Definitely nice to look at. And I don't want to compare. It is similar, but it's a totally different game. So can't really compare it on that front. Definitely equally as cute. It looks really good. I do know that the components are going to be similar to Creature Comforts as well, just from the pamphlet that I did get, the rule book. So obviously I can't touch on components too much right now. I don't have the completed copy. This is just a prototype. But what they have promised definitely looks like it's going to be really, really great. These are just circle punch out, but it did say that there would be like a die punch out for the tokens, which would be nice too. But yeah, I can't touch too much on that. I don't really know what's going on. I'm really looking forward to the campaign to check that out, just to see what it's going to look like, what the finished copy is going to look like. But yeah, artwork and the theme is just really cute. Little like woodland creatures. It's a really cute theme. I really enjoy the theme. I did really enjoy this game. I don't think that it is a typical game for Nick and I to play because we play heavier games, but definitely for family who typically don't play board games, this is totally something that you can play with them. And for younger kids as well, I know that we've played literally every kids table board game that we have in this house with our kids, and they've loved every single one of them. So it's definitely a good game to keep in your collection. Keep in mind, it is a lighter game, but nonetheless fun. So anyways, if I said anything that has intrigued you, please check out the Kickstarter. The link is down below. It will be out on Kickstarter very soon. I say that, it should be out tomorrow, but if you're watching this a couple days later, it's already out. But anyways, I hope that you enjoyed the video, and I will catch you next time.